Hello everyone, welcome to Go Get My Guru. Before proceed with the today's session, let's have a look at agenda of today's session. First we'll write the general example for encapsulation in Python. First we'll create a class, named it chair, and then write one variable, called it as folding chair, and then define a method that is def display chair price with self parameter and one print function with string chair price is 1000. Then create an object for chair class, that is chair is equal to chair. Here chair is the object of the chair class. Call the variable and method through this object by giving chair.name and chair.display chair price. When we execute this code, we should get output as folding chair and chair price is 1000. Let's run this code and we are getting here output is folding chair and chair price is 1000. Next we'll see the definition for encapsulation. Encapsulation is one of the object-oriented programming principle which protects or restricts the access to the variables and methods of a particular class. We'll see the diagram for encapsulation. In encapsulation, there are two access specifiers to protect or restrict the data members of the class. The data members of the class are variables and methods. The first is public and another one is private. In this, you can access variables and methods of class within or outside the class. Here, the scope of the variable and method is public. So, we are accessing this variable and method outside the class, that is chair.name and chair.display chair price. But in private, we can't access the variables and methods outside the class. It should be accessed only within the class. To make that, we need to use double underscore as the prefix to the variable and method. We'll see the example of how to define the private method and private variables. We'll write a code which contains private methods. First we'll create a class, that is chair, and then define the init method with self parameter and then call a private method, that is self.double_display chair price. Here double underscore indicates that method is private method. Then we'll create one more def display chair color with self parameter and with print function with string chair color is black, and we'll define private method, that is def double_display chair price with print function, that is chair price is 1000. Create an object for this class, that is chair is equal to chair. Then call the method to this object, that is chair.display chair color. Run this code. Here we are getting output as chair price is 1000 and chair color is black. We'll see the code from beginning. Here chair is the class and then define the init method. In init method we have called display chair price, that is private method, and then defined one more method, that is display chair color with print function with string, that is chair color is a black, and then define a private method. In that private method there is one print function, that is chair price is 1000. Then created an object for this chair class. Through this object we have called the display chair color, not this private method. Whenever we create an object, it will automatically initialize the init method. Then it will call to the private method which is in a class. We can't call private method outside the class. If we do that, we'll get attribute error. We'll see that error by calling private method through object. Let's run this code, and here we are getting attribute error. Chair object has no attributes. So we need to call this private method always inside the class. Then next we'll see the example for private variables. Let's consider, we'll take variable as name is equal to folding chair. Now we want to make this variable as private. So we need to write double underscore as a prefix to the variable. Through this object, we'll call that variable. We'll run this code and we'll see what output we'll get. Here we are getting the output is attribute error. Chair object has no attribute. It is because of we have called the variable outside the class. We need to call this variable inside the class by writing self.double_name in display chair color method. After running this code, we are getting output as chair price is 1000, chair color is black and folding chair.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you again in the next session. Keep coding, happy learning.